Okay, I just want to, it's kind of a vacation time period. So this week I just decided to kind of say, here's what I'm going to plan to do in the second half of 2023, kind of high level, big picture, whatever you want to call it. But for those that are in the U.S., happy 4th of July to you and to those that lost back in the 1770s, 1780s. A 5% tax all of a sudden looks pretty good here in the U.S., which is what it probably equated to for what the what England charged the colonist back during that time period. Um, I'd like to have a 5% tax about right now. Anyway, happy 4th to those in the U.S. What I plan to do the second half of this year is one, I want to. I've started doing some research on AI, so there'll be some episodes on AI and how executives are using AI. Um, and in case you don't know what AI is, it's artificial intelligence. It's maybe it's Aleppo or Uyghur moment. If I would think most executives would know what AI uh, is at this point. So some episodes on AI as we inch closer to what I am telling my customers, past, present, and will in the future, is that we are inching towards a recession, and it may be worse than anything we've ever seen. So I always think it should be in the back of people's mind, especially the roughly the time period that's been looked at is late this year, first half of next year, when things will fall apart. Now everything's hunky dory right now, but it kind of looks like right before a tsunami, when all the water goes back, and everything's well, that's kind of cool. Well, what's coming and what will follow probably be a tsunami of uh, hopefully not, but probably something worse than we've ever seen that we've witnessed. Both Peter Schiff, that I follow, has been talking about this for a long time. We've kicked the can down the road for a very long time. Then probably in the last, I don't know, 2 to 3 years, been following David Hunter. Now, they are definitely the pessimists of the group. Most people are thinking of in terms of soft landing. I don't see that by any stretch, but uh, I follow more Austrian economics than Keynesian or any of the other stuff that has been battered around. I don't believe the government should be involved in things, which I'll talk about here in a minute. So AI, I'll be talking about as we get closer to the recession. I still do my quarterly kind of updates that like I did last week on um, the state of the economy, basically that we may be heading towards deflation. We haven't really seen anything like that since the Great Depression in 1929. So we'll see. I think people again. I want to keep it in the front of people's minds, thinking about just because the sun's out today doesn't mean the hurricane isn't coming tomorrow. Then I'm also going to spend some time on business transformation. A lot of what I do, the setup for executives in my executive education program is all about learning about your organization. It really does set you up for a transformation. There will be things, people that have gone through my education piece, which I think is now, I know it's well over 110 or 15, something like that now. Um, know that the the whole process of learning about your own organization rather than your MBA program and you know Harvard or whatever business school, Penn, um, you know, study Apple. How's that going to help you? doesn't really. Um, but studying your own organization is very helpful, and it will give you things to uh, kind of see that maybe that you didn't see before in your organization. That's the purpose, kind of the whole process. But that leads to business transformation, right? And there may be some very simple things that you see, say, gee, we need to work on these. But from my standpoint, my business transformation is more systemic than most business transformations. Um, Most business transformations are something you do to the front line, either from the support areas or from some outside firm. All of my business transformation process has to do with the front line, the people interacting with customers, kind of leading what's going on, and that executives take the position of removing barriers that they come across when they're going through the business transformation system that I have, or the method that I have. And so business transformation is the third thing. So AI, economy, we'll be talking about business transformation, the fourth thing. I'm primarily going to do this on another channel. It's something I've really dug into the research on, and then conversations with, again, past, present, and potentially some future clients, is ESG and DEI. Now, I'm seeing, first of all, it's expensive. I don't know if you've ever, the bigger companies have hired some of these people that have written these books, and it's amazing how much they charge and how bad it is. It's ridiculous. But it checks a box for companies that might be investing in your organization, like BlackRock and Vanguard and State Street, which are the three. They are not doing companies a service by virtue of the things that they're doing, forcing ESG and DEI on organizations. It's something that will make your organization worse. I've seen the results of it. The only data that's being presented at all right now, to any degree, are from people that promote ESG and DEI, and they try to put lipstick on that pig, and it is not something that is going to work for organizations that have a fiduciary responsibility to, make the best products that they can, if they're manufacturers of products, or provision the best services that they can, and all the other stuff just adds costs that's unnecessary. And you're seeing organizations that have let this basically crap go on for a long time in organizations, and they're starting to kick it out. And companies that have embraced this, we've seen the Targets. I've talked about this before. The Disneys, the Anheuser-Busch, which is owned by InBev, a European company. I mean, all these companies are starting to pay a price because people are kind of fed up with this. And I certainly am. I know that it's something that provides no value, adds additional cost to your organization. And when the recession hits, all this stuff's going to go away, because you're not going to be able to afford to have all these ancillary positions that you have in support areas telling you what to do. And I'm having a lot of companies look at their HR departments, because their HR departments are the ones kind of promoting this stuff within their organization. I'm not an advocate, but I plan on hitting this a little harder on my Deming Lens channel. I haven't really done much with that over the last, I don't know, probably 5 months or so. But I want to add some content into it. I think we're really getting far away from things that made this country grow, the capitalist systems out there. And some people think Dr. Deming was a socialist. You'd think it by virtue of some of the comments that I get on occasion from people within the Deming community, which is, all this stuff that's going on is good. It's not, and they're getting ready to get a smackdown is really what's going to be happening here, on the backlash against the Larry Finks that well, we're trying to force behaviors on people. Well, that isn't the role of an organization, and just that some of the stuff that's gone on, the pendulum's gone way too far, and we need to bring it back a little bit more to the middle. And organizations do have a fiduciary responsibility to make the best products, to provision the best services that they can, and adding costs to things that do not help an organization. If they're helping, great. Haven't seen it. And most of the organizations that I've talked to that would not want to be named would say the stuff is, we're either being forced to by virtue of people like BlackRock and State Street and Vanguard saying you need to do these things. No, you don't. And again, if we put the voting back in the hands of the people who are investing in these companies that put their money in there, and then the BlackRocks then say use that power to go in and get board seats and say you need to do these things. It doesn't have to do with making better products and making better or provisioning better services. Then you're just adding cost and heartache, and it's all going to come back to you, and it already has. And most organizations that I've either worked with in the past or the present or the future and that I'm talking to are dumping this stuff, and it'll free up some resources. Diversity, love it. As long as the diversity of thought and it actually adds value, just then adding, hiring people, we had the affirmative action thing knocked out today. And affirmative action, having to hire somebody that is less than the skill that you need in an organization is just foolish. So anyway, you may disagree, that you're welcome to disagree. But I've worked around a lot of organizations to see how the negative effect of this stuff on organizations. That's what I wanted to cover this week. And again, happy 4th to those in the U.S. And remember, there is always a better way.